Hey guys, so I'm here with one of my students, Wanya, who's been coaching about Airbnb, and we've been working one on one. So I have her here with me for a student interview, and yeah, without further ado, meet Wanya.
Hello. Hi.
So we're just gonna be talking about her Airbnb journey and how it's been getting started and investing. And I know it's scary for most people to invest into a business, and it's a big step, especially for women. There's not as many female entrepreneurs. So kudos to Wanya for taking that step and being successful at it. But yeah, Wanya, why don't you share with us a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to?
Well, I started my career, I think 2, 3 years ago now, as a marketing coordinator, and there's just not enough money. I remember texting Minnie, this 9 to 5 is not for me. And then that's how our journey began from there. And definitely it was something very difficult for me to do at that point in my life, to even have like X amount of money and put it towards a business that I'm not sure, because I've never done it. But now I can confidently say, like, after my entire journey being a part of it, that I could not have wished for anything else apart from this. Yeah.
Nice. I remember you DM me and you were like, mentor me, please. I'm not cut out for this 9 to 5 life. And
Exactly.
I was like, at that point, I was a little bit busy, but when went back and I read that, I was like, girl, I feel you, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in similar
Yeah.
situations that, don't know how to navigate that or like what else they could do, instead of following standard career path. And, you were also in the marketing space, which I was currently at that time doing marketing alongside my Airbnb business. So I thought, you know what, let me reach out to her and see how I can help and provide value, which I was sure because at first when I was starting this mentorship, I wasn't sure I'd want to take on students if I wasn't able to deliver results. But when I was able to do that with a lot of other people, then I was like, look, Wanya, this
Mm.
is a sure thing. There's no way
Mm.
if you and I work together one on one and like, we do this face to face, walking through every step of the process. There's literally no way you wouldn't see
Exactly.
results. And I remember you getting on a call with me and you were like, I'm not sure, I'm getting married and I don't know if I want to
Yeah.
like go through with this. And I was like, it's totally up to you. Like there's no pressure, but let me show you what the other side looks like.
Hmm.
And I feel like once you saw that, you were like, you know what? Let's do it. Like
Exactly.
you got your wedding coming up
Hmm.
soon, which is now October in 2 weeks. By the way,
Yeah.
congratulations on
Thank
getting
you.
married.
Thank
It's
you.
very exciting. And the reason why I wanted to tell you that was because, when you get married, you have like a lot of bills, expenses, and going into a marriage being financially free is like a completely different type of experience. And I knew I could help you with that, in some way, and you'll take it further and
Yeah.
grow it. But yeah, no, I'm just glad you trusted me and you were going to be like, you know what,
Absolutely.
let's do it, and let's take the
I'm
next step.
also really glad that I trusted you. And like I said earlier, I think everything happens for a reason, and we connected for a reason. We invested in July for a reason. Everything went a certain way for a reason. And I remember you telling me it's fine, it's gonna be okay, just don't, because I'm very type A. So I remember
Yeah,
you like comforting and being like, no, it's okay, it's worked for me, it's gonna work for you. Like, trust me, it's fine. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And as maybe even being an independent woman, it's always like you have to be very cautious of losing everything you've built. Which is why when you go into a business and you're like investing X amount of money, it's always scary because you don't know what it's gonna be like. You've never tested the waters, but I'm genuinely really grateful to have a mentor like you that has led me towards success in all these different ways, because I know Airbnb is like this beautiful thing, but like to get to that beautiful point, there's obviously steps that you have to take, and you were there to help me get to that point, and I'm very grateful for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes me really glad to hear. I remember, even like throughout the process, you had some questions and some concerns, and I'm like, don't worry, Wanya, no, we'll figure it out. And you know what, we figured it out and made it to the other side. But so I just want to ask you a little bit about how has it been specifically with like your unit. So you have a 3 bedroom unit. So talk to me a little bit about like what that process was like getting started, because I know you
Hmm.
furnished your unit yourself.
Hmm.
I was there to kind of give you some guidance, but you
Yeah.
had, your own initiative and your own ideas. which I'm seeing now. Like you're also a smart girl, so you can figure things out. So talk to me a little bit about that. Like,
Yeah.
what that was like.
Of course. After getting the unit, the first thing that we had to do was actually furnish it, which a 3 bedroom unit was really difficult, and it was like a whole different situation in my head because I hadn't planned for it. Again, I'm type A. I need to plan for everything. So I looked through all my resources, like the way you taught me, you mentored me, look at Marketplace, look at all these different places. And I'm really good at finding good deals for a good price. So I was able to furnish my unit in a little less than 20 grand, completely new, luxurious, like very nice feel. That I think was like a pat on the back for myself because
Definitely,
it
yeah.
was a really it was a challenging part, but it was fun to do at the same time. The STR I think was a part where we faced a hurdle but came through really well. Once
Yeah.
that was set in place, our July was because we did half of July and then the remaining of the months went really, really amazing. I think we hit 20 grand in August,
That's
which was
incredible.
insane. I don't even think I've ever seen another unit do that much starting off
Right.
this early.
And I remember telling you these numbers with my units that
Yeah.
like are similar. You were like, I gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah.
But 20 grand right off the bat is huge. And
It
it's
was.
just like scratching the surface to show you like what is possible. But no, that's incredible. See, the furnishing was great. Good job with that. I'm glad you were able to, pick your own colors and, little details. And that's kind of the fun part of having a business as well. Being creative, exercising your brain. I remember you texting me like, I'm no longer gonna be a corporate girly. I got my mentor, millionaire mentor
I
to
know,
coach
yes.
me. And like you're just kind of seeing like what the other side is, and honestly you're just getting started. It's only been
Exactly.
what, like 2 or 3 months. So you have a whole world of opportunity that exists, and you can choose how you want to build it. But yeah, so talk to me about like how long it took for you to kind of see the return on your investments. I know you furnished your unit, so it was 3 bedroom. And your startup cost, I believe, like the rent was like 4,200. So how much was your total like setup cost for the unit?
I think my total was around $19,000 set up, including like furniture, the subscriptions that we bought for all those other things that to run the
Software,
Airbnb
yeah.
softwares and exactly all of that it acquired to be, and even the person last month's rent, around $19,000 was our first, and eventually we made enough money to have finally broken even next month, inshallah.
That's amazing.
It is. Nobody's ever heard $20,000 broken even in like 3 months.
In 3 months. I don't think there's any real estate investment that kind of
Nothing.
exists where invest 20K, you make it back, predictably in passive income at that within such a short time frame.
Exactly.
Which is why it's such a rare and unique opportunity. That not many people have discovered, or to be honest, taking the risk, because it is a bit of a risk to get started. But yeah, how was it like, starting your own business? 'Cause now I know you incorporated your own, is it called
Yeah.
Nest and Co
Nest and Go
Properties?
Properties, yeah. I have my own business credit card.
Nice. You
I
were
got
quick with it.
right.
I think some of the other students are still like setting up their
Oh, I
businesses,
see.
but it feels nice to kind of make your own
Mhm.
name. You
It
know,
does. I bought a car. I'm gonna be writing it off
Tell me
under the
about
business.
that because that is like one of the quickest
Yeah.
moves. That's incredible.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on that. Well, I guess you have unit profits
Yeah.
to kind of back you up as well, moving forward because you have pretty much almost I think ROI on the startup cost.
Exactly.
So the rest should just be like
Pure
profit,
profit.
pure
Yeah.
profits, and
Exactly.
like you should have no problems making your car payments and everything
Doubling it
else.
up to the next
And
B&B.
exactly, yeah, doubling me down, getting the next one. But no, I'm so glad to hear that. This is exactly what I wanted to do, and to be able to share that experience for me also really rewarding. And tell me about your future goals with Airbnb. So I know you own another property as
I
well.
do.
I think you have a townhouse
Yeah.
in London.
I own that property before I even started my business.
Yeah.
I've always been very money minded. Got out of university, paid off 20K student debt, bought myself a bag just to make myself feel better about
Hey.
everything. Um, And then I saved money for a down payment towards a house because I wanted to have a house before I got married. Just like, you got to have something in the bag.
You're a go getter.
Right?
I like that.
So I wanted to have to build all that before I reached a certain point in my life. And even though I'm only 24,
And yeah, I was gonna say you're still so young, 24 to own a property. I think that's pretty unheard of in today's market, especially in Canada. Like, there's not many people doing that,
yeah.
even at like a later age. So tell me about that investment. Are you thinking about doing Airbnb with it
Hell
now?
yeah, of course.
You gotta give your tenant a notice,
I
like,
know,
hey,
be
I'm
like,
moving
hello,
back
I'm
in.
changing the floors, please leave. So yes, I am thinking of putting that up on Airbnb. We haven't tested out the London market yet, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun experiment to figure it out. And I say
I'm
fun
sure, like,
cautiously.
yeah, I'm like guaranteed you'll make more than your long-term rent that you're getting from your tenant. Like, how much are you earning in rent from doing tenant rent?
So my mortgage payments are a little over 3,000, and my
Okay.
rent is 2,750.
750.
So I'm still
Okay.
putting money out of my pocket towards the house, towards the mortgage. So I'm not actually
Cash flowing, yeah.
no.
Right? But with Airbnb, you would cash flow.
Definitely. And
Right.
that's where my mentor taught me how to flip that over because obviously the property's appreciating, but that money's not coming in my pocket right now. It would if I sold the house 3 years down the line, but with the mortgage rates, everything starts fluctuating and everything.
Right.
So it's uncertain owning a property and having it rented rather than Airbnbing it. So
Yeah.
that's the next step. So that was actually a really good question you asked me because type A. So I planned everything out. As soon as I got my first property, the goal was to have X amount of money saved for my business to pay taxes because obviously I'm running off my car. So, building that, like thinking ahead of time, tax season April 2026 coming up soon.
Yeah.
So getting that out of the way, then saving around 20 grand out of my profits, out of my pure profits to acquire my next property.
Next property, yeah.
So that's another step. And then Umrah trip after that.
Umrah trip. I love to hear that,
Yeah.
Just start with that first because honestly, that's where lessons come. But I'm glad. So, yeah, definitely, through the traditional route of renting out a property, usually your cash flow is negative, even though it's still a great investment in the long run. Um, but if you Airbnb the property, you actually will earn more than your mortgage plus the other expenses. You actually profit and build equity. So that is like the real way to build what wealth. Being cash flow positive, and you could double down and maybe use your profits to buy another property, right? So there's two ways you could scale. You could buy properties, or you could just keep turning over your profits into the next arbitrage deal. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. But yeah, I think I'm glad to have you here. Today we're just meeting up at my new lake house to with all the students filming a mastermind and just networking with everybody that's been kind of part of the same space. And I'm glad to have you on board, and inshallah see you do great things.
I'm happy to be here. And honestly, I'm very, very, very grateful that you have led me, you have mentored me to go towards the path of success. Because if it weren't for you, I would not have known how to steer. Because yeah, we have ChatGPT, yeah, we have all those things, but a human touch is what makes everything lead you towards success more efficiently than wasting your time trying to figure everything out yourself.
No, definitely. I think having someone to kind of give you that guidance and being there who's already done it, you just, although it's an investment, but it's very calculated. You get to skip through all of the questions. And yes, you can chat GPT, how do I start an Airbnb business? But like, you might not know how to actually, implement that
Exactly.
and take those steps. Whereas like working with someone who's done multiple seven figures in space, you can skip through all of the questions and like the setbacks and the twists and turns that can come up can go straight to pure profit. So it's definitely worth it. So
My millionaire mentor.
yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna end off the interview. Glad to have you here, and I'll show you guys some more of our behind the scenes of our mastermind. Thanks for tuning in.